Okay, so welcome back to the Lightning build. Again, I've had one or two camera issues, so apologies for that, but this is just to bring you up to speed on where I have got to so far. As you can see, I've got one of the booms on, the fuselage house joint, one of the booms is on. It's all been sanded and blended in and rescribed on this boom. A couple of things to go through with you on this regarding this particular boom. Okay, now with aligning something like the Lightning, it's a limited run model. There are going to be inevitable fit issues that have to be dealt with. Something like the Lightning, it's important to work on getting the alignment correct and really worry about filling gaps and stuff later. So as you can see on this model, the aligning the fit and stuff, aligning the boom probably has resulted in quite some gaps which needed to be filled. There's been some plastic sheet used to bridge a little gap here, and other than that it's just been sanded and blended in with super glue. And at the front here, super glue and talc mixed with a little bit of black pigment. This is one of the best discoveries in modelling for many years, in my opinion. It's a quick, effective filler. It sands silky smooth, it can be scribed like plastic, it dries in a very few minutes, and it lets you fill the biggest gaps possible in a very few minutes. Absolutely fantastic stuff. If you can see on this model, also had some fit issues with the fuselage halves here, which have also been addressed using the same CA and talcum powder mix. Again, whereas you'd normally be waiting for filler to dry for a long time or battling very hard super glue, this sands very easily, it blends, it feathers out beautifully, and it can be rescribed. You can probably see on there where I've rescribed the panel lines on the nose straight through it. So that's where we are. I've filled. There's been some more filling done on the underside here, which you can probably, which I hope you can see. Okay, and all the panel detail that I needed to restore has been restored. So that's with the port side boom on. So where we are now is here's the starboard boom, which is basically ready to be joined. Like I said with the Lightning, what we need to worry about is alignment rather than fit. There are probably going to be fit issues, so if we just put them to one side and accept there's going to be some filling done, which we can deal with easily because of the CA and talcum powder mix, then we can get on with getting the alignment right. Okay, so in terms of this model, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to zoom out a little bit. Okay, so so we can get a bit more of the model in. All right, and what we need to do is adjust the fit of the boom to fit onto the model. Now, one of the first things I've noticed is that these areas here on this model need trimming back in order to allow them to fit into this area here. Okay, so what I'm going to use for that is I'm just going to use a coarse sanding stick. Okay, and I'm attacking this this area with a coarse sanding stick. It's really check and adjust, so I'm going to sand a little bit out, and then we're going to check to see if it, I know that the forward and rear parts of this do already fit, so we're just checking to see. Okay, so I can see a little bit more needs to come off of there, so let's deal with that. And as I say, it's just checking and adjusting the fit until that boom more or less slips into place, and not worrying at all about the actual fit of it. Okay, now there are one or two fairly significant fit issues here. You can see on the underside, I hope you can see that, where the boom fairing there is actually deeper than the wing. But that said, we have got it lining up fairly nicely over the top. So what we need to do is get that glued in place and then worry about reducing the boom fairing later on. So whereas I said there were some significant fit issues, as you can see, it's actually taken me very few seconds to get that adjusted to the point where at least it slips into place where we need it. So a little bit more that looking at it needs to come off of this side. Again, I can't say it too many times, we're going to be using CA and talcum powder, so the gaps are pretty much irrelevant. Okay, so I'm just checking side to side adjustment, and I'm happy with that. I'm looking at it from the front, and actually remarkably it's all gone, both fins look pretty much vertical. Just make sure you adjust it side to side as well, and check if you need to remove some more, which I do. I need to remove some more on the front of the outboard side to allow it to slide one way or the other. To again, we're looking for alignment here, and that still needs more of it taking off, so don't be shy. Again, this isn't your Hasegawa or Tamiya kit. You know that there will be significant fit issues to be dealt with. Right, okay, at that point I'm just checking the fit again, checking the alignment on top. I'm really quite happy with that overall. By holding that in place, that's going to be fine. Alignment from the front is absolutely fine. Okay, so with that just in place, what you can, I hope you can see, are some really significant gaps here and here on the underside. Okay, but as I said, we don't care about those. Those will get dealt with very, very effectively during the cleaning up stage. The other thing I'm just checking is that the heights over the booms on top here, okay, is good, because what we want to do is minimise the amount of work we need to do there in order to ensure it's level as this one is. There are some other details to go on here, but right now we're working on that part. Okay, so it looks fine from the top, it looks fine all around this area. I'm just checking again to ensure there's no fit issues. Okay, overall fairly happy with that. Okay, so what I'm intending to use is CA super glue for that. So what I do is I will cut off a piece of thick masking tape here, and I'll use that to make a little puddle of CA. Okay, and the other thing I'm going to be using is some of the plastic safe accelerator that I've got here, just to set things in place very quickly once I've got it lined up. I'm just looking for a little applicator for that, which that'll do. Right, for an applicator you can use, I use an old curved knife blade for a lot of stuff because it helps get glue into the gap, and you can also use things like a cocktail stick like this. So we've checked the alignment. We know in general the alignment is pretty good on there. So what I'm just going to do is I'm just going to put some super glue. I hope you can see that. I'm just going to put some super glue on the lower edge here, which is just to help me with the initial lining up. Okay, this is almost a fresh pot of Zappa Gap, so it's going to set up very, very quickly. So with that in place, what I'm going to do is pop the wing in, check the alignments in place like so. Okay, hopefully you can see that. Okay, happy with that. So I'm just going to take a little bit more CA and run it over the top of the join. Okay, there's a bit of CA that's going to be proud of the surface, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the accelerator to set that, and then I'm going to immediately sand it before I do any of the other gluing. Okay, just to remove the bulk of that super glue before it goes. If you leave it on there too long, neat super glue goes rock hard very, very quickly. Okay, so there's that actually pretty much held in place. We're happy with that. Okay, so, and like I said, what I want to do is attack and remove the majority of that, that CA that's in there. So I'm just going to get one of my skinny sanders out to allow me to get in there. Okay, and then just attack it immediately. That CA is already dry because of the accelerator I've used, but it hasn't yet gone rock hard, so we're in a position where we can quite easily remove the majority of the bad stuff. All right. It sounds like downtown Kosovo out there. Somebody's been with the fireworks. Okay, so in a very few seconds, what I've actually done here, okay, is got that rear join glued in place with super glue and accelerator over there, and I've also started the sanding process. That's just removed the bulk of the super glue from it, which means that in due course it's just going to mean less work for us. So what I'm doing now is just checking the fit of the front, okay, and if I'm happy with that, what I'm going to do is move the CA over here where it's hopefully at least far enough out of the way that I'm not going to put my fingers in it. Okay, so we're pretty happy with that overall. That's a pretty nice neat joint, albeit with a big gap. So again, we're just running plenty of super glue into that gap. Okay, like that. Plenty of accelerator over the top. We're giving it a few seconds to dry out. All right. There we go. Just attack it. Just wipe off the excess. All right. And with that now dried, we can now start sanding there as well to remove, as I say, the bulk of the CA. So these skinny sanders are great for this kind of work. It means I can get into where I want without losing other detail. So okay, if you left that to go hard for a few more hours, that would have been like trying to sand granite. Super glue really does go very, very hard. So I'm just going to trim off a tiny little bit of the corner here where I can see there's a little bit of an issue, but nothing too major. Okay, so that's the top of these booms initially glued in and sanded. Now, as I've already said, look, we have got some truly enormous holes here and here, okay, with the way I've sanded it back to allow the fit to be adjusted, because I was more worried about the fit over the top here, okay. So what I'm going to show you now is I'm going to fill those gaps, and what I'm going to fill them with is some Zappa Gap here, okay, and talcum powder. Now what this is just cheap talcum powder. I got it from a pound shop here in the UK, and what I've done is decanted a little bit into this pot, and then I've added a little bit of MIG pigment to it, which is, in this case, I added some black smoke. You don't have to add a lot, but what it does is I'll put the lid back on, give it a good shake, and that turns your talcum powder a dark grey colour. Now when you mix that with super glue, okay, what you're going to get is a black super glue, which is great because it allows you to see exactly what you're doing when you fill. Okay, so all I'm going to do is take some of this, okay, put it on the put it on there, and then mix it in. And as you can see, what you immediately start getting, okay, is a black super glue mixture. Now this will remain workable for a couple of minutes, okay, which allows you to get it into the gaps themselves. Alright, so hopefully you can see that. So all I'm going to do is scoop some up on here, okay, and run it into the gap there. Look, see, no dramas. We've accepted that there's going to be some fairly significant filling jobs done on these booms. Alright, so not a problem, and there's probably going to be a couple of applications of this CA and talcum powder mix needed here. Okay, so there's that side. Some Olympics class gaps on this side. Okay, so again, we're not really worrying about where it's going in the gap, just get loads of it in there. It's all going to dry off in a very few minutes, and then we can start working on it. The beauty of this as a filler is that it never goes super hard. Okay, so you probably can't quite see that, but that's already started to go off. So in a couple of minutes, you can start getting rid of the majority of the bad stuff from the gap. Okay. So anyway, there's my booms thoroughly in place. I guess the only thing I've got to hope now is that the horizontal tails which go between here, there might have to be a bit of clamping once that's all dried and sanded through and in place to get them to join up. But I'm just keeping an eye on my super glue and talc filler here, just as it dries off. Let's get rid of that. And you can really keep on filling and filling this stuff with no issues whatsoever. It's as I say, it's truly a great discovery by whoever did discover it. You can use accelerator on this. What you'll end up with, I'll just show you. If you do use accelerator on it, you're going to end up with a white blush on top. Okay, as it dries off really quickly. But again, it's not an issue because you're going to be sanding most of this away. Okay, and let's just add a bit along that joint as well, just to help us along. So hopefully you can see how you're getting a white, you're getting a bit of a white blush along some of the filler now. Okay, but as I say, it's not the end of the world, and we can actually start to gently carve away some of the stuff we don't want. Before it's truly gone hard. Okay, there you go. So what are we doing next? Well, when I come back to you, what I'm going to be doing is sanding that through, sanding it back, and then checking the join lines over, and checking and adjusting where needed. So this is going to need another couple of applications anyway, so what I'll do is I'll get back to you when those applications have been done and we're good to go with the checking the finish and perhaps a little bit of rescribing. So I'll see you when that's up and running.